My friend is being a bridezilla, and I refuse to go to her wedding. Sophie and I, both 27, have been close friends since we were 4. We were not the speak every single day, Laurel, Susanna type of friends, but I genuinely considered her a sister and her parents like an aunt and uncle. Our families are close. My whole family is invited to her wedding, as is my boyfriend's family. My boyfriend is Sophie's brother's best friend. That's how close we all are. So I wasn't really surprised when she asked me to be her maid of honor, and I think I would have been a good one. Well, 2 weeks ago, Sophie, the other bridesmaids, and I went to try on bridesmaid dresses. I thought we all had a good time and that it was a successful trip as we all found dresses. Apparently, not really, because a couple of days later, Sophie asked to meet me. She asked that I step down from being maid of honor. She said seeing me in the bridesmaid dress made her realize she just didn't want me stealing focus from her, and she wouldn't feel good standing up there knowing everyone was probably comparing us. I beg your finest pardon. Here's the thing. I genuinely think that the only person comparing is her. Genuinely. Like, this energy is so weird. I was so hurt. I admit I cried right there in the coffee shop. Bestie. Partly because I never wanted her to think that anyone would be thinking anything other than she was the most beautiful bride on her wedding day. And partly because I was so excited to be up there with her and she was kicking me out over something I couldn't even control and wasn't even really true. So I said, fine, it's her wedding, and if she didn't want me up there, I wouldn't be. But I wasn't going to come to the wedding as a guest when clearly my presence was going to burden her. Period. Sophie said that wasn't what she meant, and I asked her to explain. She said she desperately wanted me there, so she was going to put aside her feelings, but she wanted pictures at the altar to be with her looking the best.
What?
And to have that moment with everyone looking up at her. But like they will be though. That's what I don't get. Brother. It's such a weird energy. And like, it really kind of like, it confirms just a few suspicions that I have. I think she's very bold to even admit this. But someone else's beauty doesn't negate your own.
True talk, y'all.
Just because there are other people out there that are attractive, that doesn't make you unattractive. And certainly not on your wedding day. And like, furthermore, I don't understand the logic of her like not wanting you to be maid of honor, but also not wanting you to drop out of the wedding entirely. Because it's like, you're still gonna show up to the wedding, you're still gonna look great.
No, I want you there, just like not in pictures.
Like, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about?
That don't make sense.
She also wanted me to tell everyone I dropped out because I was too busy. Oh, no. No. If you're dropping out, she needs to explain exactly why. And like, honestly, you know what? No, I don't like that because then she could lie. I think you need to explain exactly why. I said none of this felt fair and I wasn't going to lie for her. I was a good friend and did nothing wrong and she was being a brat, but that was her prerogative and I didn't have to play along. I hate to say it, bestie, but your friend is being a major bridezilla. How are you not embarrassed saying this out loud? Like, listen, we all have insecurities, okay? We all, compare with other people, but I'll be damned. There is no way in hell that I would have let someone outshine me on my wedding day. If you're worried about that, maybe you need to bring a little heat. And furthermore, like, it's not even like you need to bring the heat to be petty. It's people are there to see you. Like, unless they're totally vindictive and total assholes, they're not sitting there thinking,
Yeah, she looks pretty, but like, her friend's way prettier.
And if they're thinking that, they're f***ing assholes.
Trash, filth, trash.
I told my boyfriend about this, who's pretty horrified. It is horrifying. Disturbing, even. And agreed that if I didn't want to go, I shouldn't. Although he still is because he's friends with the groom. But my mom and stepdad think I would be the a-hole if I didn't go. My mom said it's also been obvious that Sophie was insecure. I never noticed this. And she can understand where she's coming from. That doesn't make it okay. She said, I've had all the spotlight our whole lives. Again, I don't think this is true. Sophie's far more outgoing and well-liked than I have ever been. And even though it's pretty sad, maybe she does deserve to be the princess on her wedding day and I shouldn't hate her for it. But if your mere presence and the way that you look affects that for her, I wouldn't go where I'm not wanted. Absolutely not. She can go hang out with her ugly friends. Like what?
You are very ugly.
Oh God, it's so weird. It's literally so weird. Like, what is her, I don't say that. I'm not saying her friends are ugly, but I'm saying that like it's interesting that she only doesn't want you there. So are all of her other friends like homely?
That's a good question.
And like not as attractive? Oh, well, you can stay because you're not that pretty. Offensive. She says I'll regret missing the wedding over this. I mean, maybe, but like, honestly, she's kind of made it impossible for you to want to go. I wouldn't go, like, no way. My stepdad said I should go because she's my oldest friend, and even if she's being unfair, sometimes you have to let people be irrational.
You're not my dad!
I really don't know. Sophie and I have many mutual friends, and there's not a lot of people I can ask about this without it getting back to her, so here I am. I feel like maybe I'm being a jerk having this blow up, but I don't see why I should even stay friends with someone who would exclude me from her wedding party over something superficial. And clearly she's been sitting on these feelings forever. Not to mention I already paid for her whole bachelorette party and the bridesmaid dress and contributed to the cost of her wedding jewelry, and now I just feel used. So am I being a petty a-hole by refusing to go? She was a petty a-hole first. Ugh, be so for real right now. Oh, this is the top comment. I've dumped friends for a lot less, not the a-hole. Literally, like I will dump friends the minute that there is like even just like the slightest bit of animosity. Like the slightest bit of like, let's say like something really good happens to you and you tell a friend and like their immediate instinct is to like go on their phone and like not pay attention, not congratulate you, like not ask you about anything that's important to you. Or another really big tell is if you're like, you know, in a group and someone compliments you and the way that that person that you kind of weird vibes, the way that if they try to like nag you and bring you down, like someone says, oh, like your hair's so pretty. And she says, well,
It's extensions.
you know, that kind of thing, that's secret jealousy and animosity. And I dump friends for far less than someone coming to me and saying,
I don't want you as my maid of honor because like you're too pretty and like I don't want people to look at you.
honestly, saying it out loud, that's kind of crazy, you know? Like, this is cray-cray behavior. Not the a-hole. I'm probably a 6 to 7, depending on your type. And all of my bridesmaids and maid of honor are 7 to 9, depending on your type. I wanted them all up there with me and wanted them all to look their best and be comfortable. That is the vibes, okay? It's a flex to be surrounded by beautiful people. I don't get this mentality. Like, if I know a really pretty girl and her only friends are friends that look worse than her, objectively, you know what I mean though, right? Like, she's surrounded by people that aren't on like the same like level. And like, you know, it sounds really superficial, but I'm saying I find that to be a red flag. Unpopular opinion, maybe, but I do find it to be a red flag because what do you mean you don't have any friends that are pretty or as pretty as you? Weird. Like, with that attitude, it's just like, I don't even understand why you're even friends with her to begin with or why she wants to keep you around as a friend. Okay, here's an interesting take. Not the a-hole, but I do have a little understanding for what she's feeling, even if her actions are way over the top and awful. I don't know how big the discrepancy is between your looks, but if it is big, there's every chance she might have been dealing with this for years.
and my body has suffered a trauma.
Every time you two go out, you probably get more looks. When guys came to chat and flirt, you were probably the first one they focused on. And now she's thinking of her special day and thinking back to all those times she felt invisible next to you and wondering if she was going to be invisible standing up front at her own wedding. But OP kind of said that she's not as well liked or outgoing. I feel like it's maybe kind of the opposite, but fair enough. So while she was awful to ask that and she shouldn't have asked it, I'd still try to see some way to try and forgive her. Insecurity sucks, and being the invisible friend to the good-looking person isn't fun. So she did something bad. Yeah, but okay, but this is her friend's wedding, though. Like, this is her shining moment. Like, it's not like, you know, her future husband is going to like see the bridesmaid or the maid of honor and be like,
yeah, no, I'm good.
You know, it's actually funny. There's a big discussion on TikTok right now about this girl that like went online and talked about the fact that she couldn't be friends with this girl anymore because she was too jealous of her. And it's interesting to see the discourse between people that are like, jealousy is a disease, and people that are like, yeah, I understand where she's coming from. I personally think, and you might disagree, I personally think that jealousy can be a normal human emotion. I think it's normal to feel jealous sometimes. But you should absolutely not let your jealousy affect your friendships or affect the people around you. Use that as a sign that you need to heal something within yourself and be like, okay, like this girl has a dream body, I'm gonna work on my dream body. Or like, you know, this girl seems so confident, I'm gonna work on my confidence. I'm gonna go to therapy, I'm gonna work on my issues. Your trauma and your insecurities are not other people's fault.
What? What does it say it again?
There will always be good-looking people around you, okay? You have to learn to be okay with it or level the fuck up. So she did say something bad. You have every right to be upset, but also friends sometimes screw up, and maybe this is a time to try and have some grace for her if you can and work to eventually forgive her. Ugh. So the guy that wrote this comment says, you know, I had a friend that was incredibly handsome, got all the attention. And listen, I actually understand that more than anyone. Like, I really, really do. There was a time where, like, I still am surrounded by beautiful, successful, confident women, like, at all times. And I was, like, not approached. I was, like, rarely approached. And it was even, like, to the extent that, like, if I was noticed, my friends would have a problem with it. And they would, like, try to come between me and the guy that was interested in me. So, believe me, like, I dealt with it. And I have more of a reason not to be friends with those people than OP does. But like, did I let that history overshadow my wedding? No. Absolutely not. That's my day, bitch.
Just me.
OP responded to this and said, it's true I've always gotten more male attention and people commenting on my looks. I admit that. But in the grand scheme of life, I never felt like that was a big deal. Sophie dated often while my current boyfriend is my second ever relationship. She's always had more friends, been more popular, and even better academically. It's not like she's come second to me in everything. It's just in this one thing. So I guess I just figured it evened out. Or even that she was winning out of the two of us. Literally, like that's what I don't get. Thing is, I probably would forgive her if she ever bothered to apologize, but clearly she still thinks she's in the right here. That's important context. I appreciate that context. Yeah, you don't need to win in every facet of life. Like this insecurity, I'm gonna stand on this business. This is not fair to OP, and I would not go where I wasn't wanted, in my opinion. Okay, so we do have an update 20 days later. I'm getting rather parched listening to this. Give me a second.
Hydration.
So I don't know if anyone wanted an update. Of course we do. But the situation is somewhat concluded now, and I thought I would provide some closure. Firstly, some digging was done by my boyfriend and myself, and we think we found the roots of the issue. A couple of months ago, my boyfriend, Sophie's brother, the groom, and Sophie were out for drinks. I remember this night. I had an event for another friend I couldn't go. Over drinks, the groom apparently asked when my boyfriend was going to propose to me, and my boyfriend said, probably sometime next year. Groom then made a comment to the effect of, why would you wait that long? She's perfect.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Okay. Not appropriate. Now, according to both my boyfriend and Sophie's brother, Sophie was mad about this because the groom waited several years to propose to her. Ooh. Yeah, but again, that's still not your fault. Like, I can understand the insecurity there, but be mad at your future husband. Don't be mad at the girl that he complimented. What the fuck? She's been bringing it up to him regularly since. Obviously, we all assume he meant perfect for you, not literally perfect, but Sophie appears to be taking it personally. The second thing is that my mother did a little gentle probing, and it turns out at the bridesmaid fitting, Sophie's mom told Sophie she should have chosen a dress that wasn't going to make me look better than her. Ooh, that's awful. That's really not fair to her, I have to say. I don't think she said it like that to Sophie. This is just how she related to my mom and draw attention. Interesting. I was wondering if somebody said something. According to Sophie's mom, her aunt and cousin said the same thing, and I guess one of them ganged up on her about it. That's awful. That's literally so terrible. I feel so bad for her, but again, that's not your fault. She's been on Sophie about a pre-wedding diet, so it seems like these two things got blown out of proportion and ended up in Sophie's request that I not be maid of honor. Okay, I guess I can understand that because that is fucking terrible. Like, I can understand her insecurity. I absolutely can. Like, imagine like you try on a wedding dress and then like the people around you are saying these awful things and comparing you.
Really dumb.
I get why that was so unprompted. Or it seemed so unprompted. But again, like, it's not really your fault. Like, why are you the one that needs to be punished for that? I ended up deciding not to speak to Sophie about any of this. She's planning her wedding. She should still enjoy this time. I don't want to make this about me or our friendship. And if I'm being totally honest, I was kind of done with the friendship after the initial conversation. Good. I wanted to know the reasons for my own peace of mind, but the truth is nothing was going to change the fact that she took her feelings out on me. Bingo! Who only ever wanted to support her. None of these things came from me or had anything to do with me, but she chose to take a wrecking ball to a 20-year friendship rather than confront the people who upset her. Couldn't have said it better myself. I can't wrap my head around that, and I'm not going to try going forward. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's up. Like, listen, she is valid for feeling like awful about everything that's happened, okay? She's valid for having those feelings, but she's not valid for taking those feelings out on you when you've literally done nothing to deserve it. That being said, I decided to go to the wedding, okay, as my boyfriend's plus one, essentially, just for closure to this entire mess. Now that I've calmed down, I really don't feel any particular way about going. I'll eat, I'll drink, I'll clap, and Sophie will just be the wife of my boyfriend's friend from now on, I guess. I haven't told anyone why I'm not maid of honor. I just said in the group chat that it was for personal reasons and everyone can speculate. Once the wedding is over, I will tell our mutual friends the truth and they can do with that info what they will. Sophie has reached out since to talk, but I sent her a message telling her I'll be at the wedding as a guest and I hope she enjoys this time in her life and wishing her the best, and I haven't been replying to anything else. It surprised me how quickly I've reached the numbness of not caring anymore, but that's where I'm at. I genuinely wish her the best, but I have zero interest in being part of her life anymore. I can't see her or anything about our friendship the same way anymore. So that's it. I don't know what else to include. If anyone has anything else to ask that I've missed, feel free to ask. Thank you to everyone who commented. I mean, listen, I would be so mad about that. Like, I wouldn't tell her that I'm not going. I probably, oh God, but then it's like, what if she like pays for a plate for you? Yeah. I thought like maybe I would just like drop out or something and like not tell her. Maybe I understand why you chose to do what you did. But good for you for deciding not to be friends with this person, because I think I wouldn't want to be friends with someone who felt that way about me. Some people were pointing out, well, are you getting paid back for all the money that you spent on being a bridesmaid? OOP responded, she didn't offer, I didn't ask. I really don't care about the money enough to keep talking to her. I don't think she dropped me when she did because of the money. I do believe it was a coincidence, and she probably would make a plan to pay me back if I bugged her about it, but I paid for those things for someone I loved at the time. I didn't want to take away from her experience just because I can.
Oh, that's nice.
Honestly, you're a very classy bitch, if I may say. You're a better person than me, because like if someone said that to me, I'd be so like offended and disturbed. But I get why, I think that that's a happy medium, you choosing to go to the wedding and just not being her friend anymore. It's really, really good that you're like not talking to her about it. You're just, she's probably festering. She probably feels terrible about what she did. But at the same time, it's like, I just let her have her wedding. Don't have any more deep chats about this. Like, just let go. I think you did the right thing. And, you know, you're the one that's been this person's friend for 20 years. Like, what do I know?
You know how much I sacrificed?
I mean, all the more reason, to be honest, that someone did that to you and your friends for 20 years. But anyways, I digress. You did what you had to do. And I'm glad that you've chosen your peace instead of a friendship that clearly was very toxic. So are you the a-hole for saying I'm not going to go to my friend's wedding after she dropped me as her maid of honor because of my looks? No, you're not the a-hole at all in this. I do feel bad for Sophie, but that doesn't make you an a-hole. Should I feel guilty for skipping my friend's pricey wedding? Ooh. This was posted in Bridezilla's. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video and you enjoy other videos on my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so we can hang out on a day-to-day basis.
Just do it!
Hey Reddit, I need some opinions because I'm feeling a little lost. My friend Karen, 30 female, is getting married. And while I'm super happy for her, she's planning a huge destination wedding in the USA. We live in Europe. Oh. Usually it's the other way around, but okay.
Vegas.
She keeps calling it her real wedding, even though there's supposed to be a smaller one in France where we can all go, but we are not invited yet. Here's the thing. Karen is really pushing for my boyfriend and me to go to the USA for this wedding. I've tried to explain to her that I just don't have that kind of money lying around. Her solution? Start paying for flights now in small installments and figure out the rest later. No. Honestly though, I just don't have the budget and this would eat up my holidays for 2025, which is not really how I want to spend it. Hey man, if that's not how you want to spend it, that's not how you want to spend it. You know what I mean? Some people really like the excuse to go on it like a destination wedding holiday and they use it as an excuse to like see other parts of the country or whatever, places close by. I know people did that with my wedding. But there were also people who genuinely could not afford to come. There were also people who had to skip out for personal reasons. And like, it definitely sucked, especially because people dropped out like so close to the date, which was like a pain because like, you know, people pay for guests per head. So we were salty about the timing of it all. But I mean, at the end of the day, there were circumstances beyond people's control. It is what it is. And furthermore, I would also like to point out that like, there were some people who couldn't afford to come that we really wanted there. Our families and we helped them come. So don't get me wrong. I love her and I'd be so happy to see her on her big day, but is it me or our brides becoming total bridezillas with these crazy demands? Do we really have to change all our plans because it's their year? Why do so many weddings now feel like a massive financial burden on the guests? Hey man, it can be, but I also feel like it is a financial burden on people who don't feel like it's worth it. Like if you were to ask me to do a destination wedding for someone that like was an acquaintance, like Mike and I were like acquaintances with this person, I probably wouldn't think that it's worth it. I probably wouldn't want to spend the money, honestly. But if it was someone that was like my best friend and like all of my friends were going, all of their spouses, our whole friend group was going, and you know, we used it as an excuse to plan like a group trip, that's different, right? Like that is a holiday that I would like to go on. I don't think having a destination wedding makes someone a bridezilla. I think getting mad at someone for not being able to afford your destination wedding makes you a bridezilla. You can tap in or tap out and do whatever you want. She deserves to have the wedding that she wants to. Karen doesn't seem to understand why I'm hesitating, and she keeps pushing for us to get the tickets, and I'm starting to get frustrated. I even asked her about the second, more local celebration, but she brushed it off and kept insisting on the USA wedding. Am I being unreasonable for wanting to skip this whole destination wedding thing? No, you're not. And yet, you know, coming from someone who did that, we also had an engagement party, and it was, some of you even clocked it because I think some of you even saw that Mike was wearing his wedding ring. We had like a civil wedding before the wedding. We weren't allowed to get married in Italy. When you do destination weddings, especially in Europe, unless you're Catholic, in Italy, you're not allowed to get married in a church. So the wedding itself is more of like just like a ceremony, like a spiritual thing. It's not recognized by the Catholic Church. So you do have to get married beforehand. Like you do the courthouse wedding or you have an officiant do it. So we actually did the courthouse wedding and then we threw the engagement party for people who couldn't come out to Europe. And everybody that couldn't come to Europe came to the engagement party, but it was also kind of our like civil wedding party. You know what I mean? We were already kind of married by that point. I feel like there's going to be more people who kind of say that they can't go all the way to the States. I don't know why she's having a wedding in the States when you guys live in France. I feel like she's probably going to end up letting people come to that like civil wedding. A person who expects you to go into debt for their party is not your friend. If they want you there, they should offer to support you financially, but it's unreasonable to expect your friends to fly across the globe for your pleasure and pay for themselves. Yeah, no, I agree about that to a certain extent. I wouldn't pay for everyone. Like, that's also kind of like a hack with destination weddings. There were a lot of people that we felt obligated to invite who chose not to come to the wedding because we're not close enough. And that's totally fine. Like, that's literally totally fine. But there were actually, very few people didn't come. We were expecting to like not have as many. And then it ended up being like way more than we thought. Go figure. But yeah, I agree with what this person is saying. If she's close enough with you, she should be offering to help you attend. If you plan a destination wedding, you either pay for the people that you want there or expect that some of them might not come. Totally agree. So we do have an update. 1 year later, destination wedding fallout. Okay. I wanted to update because I genuinely don't know if I lost one of my closest friendships over this. For background, we all live in Paris. She's American, big family. Okay, that makes sense. Wedding in a beautiful wine region near where her parents live. Very aesthetic, very Instagram, very curated. The groom is French. My boyfriend actually introduced them a year ago. We weren't casual friends. We were see each other every other day friends. Wine nights, random weekday dinners, group chats constantly, trips, real life closeness. Okay. When the US wedding was announced, I did the math. Between flights and hotels and activities, boat day, wine tours, etc., it would have been close to $4,000 to $5,000 if we stayed a week. That is a huge amount of money for us. And the entire Paris friend group felt the same. No one here has family in the US to combine it with. Before the US wedding, she came to us with a big bouquet and a bottle of wine and asked me to be bridesmaid and groomsman. It was filmed. Very emotional, very moment. The thing is, I had already told her it was almost impossible for us to go. Ooh, I don't love that.
This isn't awkward at all.
Ooh, yeah. It felt like being emotionally cornered on camera. Ooh, yeah, don't love that. We didn't say no in that moment because how do you? It was awkward. But a few days later, yeah, she totally put you on the spot and was like, well, you're going to be my bridesmaid, so you have to come.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Oh.
But a few days later, I met her alone and told her clearly we couldn't commit because of money. We wouldn't be able to travel or do anything else that year if we went. She brushed it off and said, yeah, I know, but something shifted. If she wanted you that badly, she should have helped. It kind of sounds like she has the money, or at least her family has the money. Important detail, before the US wedding, we organized a fully paid for Portugal stag and hen weekend for the both of them. It was amazing. We put in effort, money, time into celebrating them. So it's not like we didn't show up in other ways. Then 2 months later came the small French wedding. Yes, we got the invite. Perfect. It was beautiful, intimate, so fun, but she was different. Distant, polite, surface level, not the person I used to sit with for hours talking about everything. Now it's been about 6 to 7 months since that wedding. I've maybe seen her 5 times. Every time the group tries to meet, she makes excuses or insists we come all the way to their place, 45 minutes outside Paris, instead of meeting centrally where all of us live. It feels like a subtle barrier. Meanwhile, she messages my boyfriend weekly for work advice. Let's meet soon texts, professional warmth, but with me, it's cold. How's work? How's life? End of conversation. I've tried reaching out. A few let's get coffee and chat messages. Always yes soon, but it never happens. After a while, I stop chasing. And I can't help but feel like I didn't fit into the wedding storyline she imagined. The American bridesmaids flew in, the Instagram content happened, the dream aesthetic was fulfilled, the Paris girls didn't. Did we quietly get downgraded? I don't know if she consciously resents us for not going or if weddings just reorganize people's emotional priorities, but it feels like I lost someone who used to be one of my closest friends, and that makes me really sad. Am I overthinking this? Did I underestimate how much not going would hurt her? Or is this just what happens when expectations don't match reality? Yeah, I mean, it probably did hurt her. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of is what it is, you know? And, you know, it does hurt in the moment, I have to say, when people that you really want there don't want to go. I'm sure she really wanted you there. And maybe just give her time. So, yeah, OP updated and said the friend has also fallen off with the rest of the girls. I'm assuming the rest of the girls that didn't come. About meeting at her place, I would 100% go if she invited me. The only time she's told me to go is when I tell her we're meeting the group at this bar, asking if she wants to come. Whenever she doesn't feel like it, she says it's too far away and you should do something close to my neighborhood. The thing is, she never, ever replies on time. So by the time she says that, we're already there or going to the bar. By then, it's difficult to make the effort to take the train and go somewhere else. I also wanted to point out that we all commute. The group doesn't live walking distance to each other. We're all scattered around, 30 to 50 minute commute at times. But we happen to work in the same area, so we always meet around there. Like, it doesn't sound like you're, like, not friends with this person anymore. Like, maybe the frequency at which you're talking has, like, maybe she has distanced herself a little bit, and maybe she just wants you to put in a little effort.
Maybe you slackers just haven't been trying hard enough.
You know? Maybe she's kind of making a point being like, okay, that's far for me. Like, I'd like you to come out and see me. And I understand she's being kind of flaky with all of that, but at the same time, it's like, if my friend didn't want to come to my wedding, I would want to see a little effort from that friend afterward too, right? Like, you can make up for it in different ways. And maybe that's her way of doing it. Doesn't sound like she's not your friend anymore. Maybe she is hurt about it. But yeah, I would just give her a little time. A lot of people are just kind of saying, "F that girl." It's been a whole year and she's still upset. Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think that maybe she should have talked to you about it by now.
I'm really getting frustrated with the lack of communication.
Okay, I get that. I do get that. It does sound like you showed up for this friend in lots of ways. So if the friendship is just kind of becoming a little more distant and that sucks, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it hurts. She's probably hurt. You're probably hurt. It is what it is. And it might be, you know, match that energy, I think. You know, don't be totally closed off to a friendship, but like match the energy. Make sense? Okay. Am I the jerk for canceling my wedding venue because my fiance secretly gave my late dad's vintage camera to his mom and she ruined it?
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
I beg your finest pardon. I, 37 female, am absolutely heartbroken and my whole life feels like a mess right now. I need an outside perspective because my fiance's family is making me feel crazy. Allow me. My dad passed away 5 years ago. Oh, girl. And it was his camera. Oh. We bonded over photography and his most prized possession was an old vintage Leica camera, girl. A Leica? That's literally like the Ferrari of cameras. Let me look up the prices. I know a new Leica is like $30,000. Hang on. Okay, so the prices of Leica cameras, I mean, it really depends on the camera. It doesn't say what type, but like some Leicas are $10,000 and up, sometimes $50,000 and up. And like, not even to say, like, it's not even just the fact that it's a Leica. This is like very sentimental to you. Jail. Honestly, jail. Like, I don't even need to read the rest of the post. The video's over, guys. I'm just kidding. Don't go anywhere. We still have to offer judgment. Okay. When he passed, he left it to me. I only use it for very special occasions because the aesthetic is beautiful, but it's incredibly fragile and irreplaceable to me. My future mother-in-law recently decided to go on a 2-week tropical cruise. A few weeks ago, she came over for dinner and asked if she could borrow my vintage camera for the trip. She said she wanted artsy photos. No! So slap a filter on it and use your phone, bitch. I politely but firmly said no. I explained how sentimental it is and I don't let anyone handle it. I even offered to buy her a really nice, easy to use digital camera as an early Mother's Day gift instead. How thoughtful of you. She rolled her eyes and called me selfish, but I stood my ground. Fast forward to yesterday. She got back from her cruise. I went to grab my camera from my closet to clean it, and the case was empty. I started panicking. My fiance came into the room and calmly told me to relax. He confessed that while I was at work, he packed my dad's camera into his mom's suitcase. Jail. Je téléphone à la police, okay? Immediately. He told me I was being unreasonable and hoarding it and that his mom deserved nice pictures. Are you okay? No! Are people okay? I immediately drove to his mom's house and demanded it back. She handed me a plastic grocery bag. Inside was my dad's camera. Oh my God, not even a case. There's literally not even a case. The lens was completely shattered and the body was full of sand and water damage. Oh my God. This one hits home, I have to say. I started sobbing. She scoffed and said, "It's just an old piece of junk anyway." Madam, that's a Leica.
Kneel, peasants!
Put respect on the name.
It slipped out of my hands on the beach. I'll just buy you a new one from the mall.
No. No. I did not even yell. I took the bag, drove home, packed a bag, and went to a hotel. This morning, I called our wedding venue and canceled our deposit. My fiance is calling my phone saying I'm overreacting over a material object and throwing away our entire future. It's interesting how he's literally saying the exact thing that he's guilty of. His family is calling me unhinged. I'm sorry, because they stole a family heirloom from you and broke it? Something irreplaceable that cannot be replaced? How about you call the police? I feel like my trust is completely shattered, but part of me wonders if canceling the venue was too extreme. Am I the jerk?
Nope.
It's not even just the fact that she stole the camera. It's not the fact that the fiance helped steal the camera. It's the complete and utter disregard for the fact that this was something that your late father gave you, something that you were too afraid to use yourself because of how delicate it is, because of how sentimental it is. And them gaslighting you and saying, "Oh, I'll just buy you." No, dude, so fucked up. So, like, no apology, nothing, no.
It's me, run away from danger, man.
I would be so mad. Yeah, like, I feel like this is a sign that both your fiance and your future mother-in-law and your in-laws have literally zero respect for your boundaries or what you've been through in life. Literally zero respect. And who knows how that will extend, right? Well, whether it'll extend to children, whether they'll just help themselves to like your credit card, like who knows? And like the zero apology and the gaslighting. I mean, I will say, like, at least she offered to replace it. This reminds me of this one time where I think I've mentioned in videos before where like I graduated university and like I was really into photography, and my dad, as a reward for graduating university, got me a very expensive Canon Mark II. At the time, it was like the gold standard for photography. It was literally the best camera money could buy. And I wanted it so bad. Like, I worked so hard for this camera. I had a friend who was also a photographer, and this friend wanted to borrow my camera.
Oh, no.
Another reason, this is partially why I never lend out my shit anymore. I agreed because this friend had been like pretty nice to me. He was like a really well-known photographer, and like I felt like if anybody was gonna handle it properly, it was gonna be him. And so I lent him the camera, and I had to like beat down his door to get it back. And I received the camera back and it was broken. It stopped working. Like the sensor was not working anymore. It was a digital camera. And I immediately text this friend and I'm saying like, what's going on here? I lent you this camera and now it doesn't work. Like you need to pay to get it fixed. And he's like, he blamed it on me. He actually said,
Well, you need to be giving your cameras, like, yearly tune-ups or whatever.
And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now that this camera worked before I lent it to you and now it doesn't. So like, pay for it to get it fixed.
Let's do the right thing.
I don't remember whether or not he did. I feel like he did, but it actually turned out that this guy was a camera thief. He had done this to other people, which is crazy. I'm just like, yeah. Honestly, I never let anyone borrow my shit. And like, it's crazy that you didn't even let her. You firmly said no, and she still helped herself. I know it does seem extreme, but I actually don't blame you. I hate the gaslighting, you know? Like, that's so manipulative. Like, it would have been one thing if they came to you and like were so apologetic and like, no, but they stole it to begin with. Anyways, whatever. It's so up. The whole thing is so up. Repeated betrayals and going behind your back from your fiance, from your family, from your mother-in-law, whatever. And then the gaslighting. That is like, once you start to recognize gaslighting, it is like, dude, I am just like, I call it out immediately. I'm like, do not fucking gaslight me. It makes me so irate. Like, but it tells you everything you need to know about that relationship. It tells you that, number one, this person doesn't respect your boundaries. They don't care about hurting you. And when they do hurt you, they will somehow turn it around and make it your fault.
No thanks.
If that ain't a narcissist, I don't know what is. He didn't just give away a camera. He gave away your trust, your boundary, your father's memory, and your right to say no. And he did it secretly, then lied by omission, then told you to relax when you noticed it was gone. That is not a mistake. That's a pattern of disrespect. That's what I'm saying is like, it wasn't just like one thing. There was multiple things that happened. The camera is gone, but what it represents is worse. He will always choose his mom over you. He will always think he knows better. Canceling the venue wasn't extreme. It was clarity. You didn't throw away your future. You saved yourself from one where your feelings never mattered. That part. Honestly, reading this made me bawl my eyes out in my hotel room. You put into words exactly what my brain could not process yet. It was clarity. I kept rereading that part. He's still texting me right now saying I'm blowing a simple mistake out of proportion. No, I would say that that's five crossings of boundaries and lying and betrayals, like still invalidating your feelings, not apologizing, making it your fault, saying you're like
Emotional and crazy and blowing things out of proportion.
Let's see how the police feel about that.
You are all under arrest.
Like you said, it was a secret, not an accident. Thank you so much for this. I really needed the validation today. People in the comments are literally saying you're in the US, file a police report for theft and destruction of property. Yeah, like it really is that serious to some people. Leica is the Rolls Royce of cameras. I'm into photography. I know they have no place in the hands of an amateur with no regard for the legacy of the brand.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
Even if it was a cheap, crappy camera, it was yours, special and priceless to you because of the connection to your dad. You're right. Your partner had no right to do what he did, and canceling the venue was a much milder consequence than he deserves. Je téléphone à la police. First of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you, OP. I don't know if you're ever gonna see this, but that's really messed up. And you're not wrong for feeling the way that you did. And I'm sorry about your dad. I know it's not gonna be possible to replace that specific camera, but I would literally find a link to one on eBay. It's gonna be hard to get depending on like how old it is, and literally send her an invoice. Tell her to replace it, or you're going to the police.
It's not a joke.
No, you are not the jerk. My self-centered brother wants to make my wedding about his kids. I'm getting married in October. My partner, 36 male, and I, 34 female, are doing a pretty casual wedding as basically 4 discrete events over a weekend. Hang at a brewery Friday, outdoor ceremony Saturday noon, friends DJ a rave at a bar Saturday late night. All day food and hang out at our house Sunday. Sounds hella fun. We have capacity for it. If we push it, about 100 people, which means we're already not inviting a number of good friends. Importantly, Saturday night is child-free because, duh, it's a rave at a bar. We're arranging childcare for anyone who wants, which brings me to my brother. Wow, you're arranging childcare, eh? Talk about going above and beyond. Okay, so here's the issue. I was not on good terms with my half-brother, 46 male, and we haven't spoken in 2 years, largely over kid-related demands on his part. I sent him a save the date because I don't want to totally slam the door on the relationship, and I know it would cause family drama not to invite him. And he said, a flat congrats, putting it on the calendar, but I was already not feeling great about having someone I'm barely on speaking terms with when our guest list is already tight. He then threw a fit about the sole child-free night, and now I want to disinvite him. But the drama and my mom, and I'm not even sure how to go about doing it since I already sent a save the date. He threw a fit. Is he saying he's not coming? Let him not go. I don't like, okay, so go have your temper tantrum. Now we have some context. Set the scene! When my half-brother had kids, oh, sorry, I kicked you. I didn't mean to kick you. Got long legs under this desk. So when my half-brother had kids, he went from being a pretty jovial person to being incredibly controlling, condescending, and a miserable schmuck. Originally, I thought this was fallout from new parents' sleep deprivation and anxiety, but his kids are in middle school now. One illustrative example was the year he tried to tell everyone that no adults could exchange Christmas gifts because Christmas should be about his kids only.
Sorry, what?
My mom hid all the other gifts on the porch and tried to sneak boxes to everyone else behind her back. Clearly, my parents should have just said, "You're crazy." No. But we are a deeply non-confrontational family, so when he demands things, everyone else decides it's easiest to indulge him. That's why he learned to be like that.
God help us all.
I used to feel really bad. I was constantly effing up with him, even though I kind of knew he was being insane. He used a lot of therapy speak, and I always thought, gosh, it's all my fault for not meeting his clearly stated needs. I hate it when people state their needs and it's completely unreasonable. Here's an example. Let's say you have a friend that isn't responding to you on text messages and you're telling them really important news and they're just not answering. In this day and age, I'm sorry, but you're on your phone. Everybody's on their phone, okay? You're not too busy to respond. And then when you confront them about it, they say, "Oh, well, I'm not good at texting, you should have called." Okay, why is it only up to you how we converse and have a conversation? What about, okay, well, I don't like calling and you should have answered the texts. Why is it everybody else has to change what they're doing to accommodate one person? Anyways, but a couple of years ago, he laid into me in a truly unacceptable tone. It was not the first time, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Thanks in part to my partner who was kind of aghast. I stopped replying. I recognize I probably should have said, "I will not engage if you speak disrespectfully to me," but I just said nothing. I too hate confrontation. And so the standoff. We've exchanged maybe 3 texts a year, a brusque, a happy birthday type thing. Is that the word? Brusque? Brusque? I don't know.
Brusque.
Bruschetta? Ugh. Since then, I've done a lot of thinking about our relationship. I'm not saying I've been great, but I've tried to show up for him the way he wants. At his DIY wedding, I work for days setting up tables, chairs, etc. I suck with kids. I find them draining. But I have prioritized visiting him for a weekend at least a couple times a year, including when I lived on the other side of the country. I held, read to them, and at least tried to play with them. We made cookies together. I got them gifts. When I moved closer, I actually tried to visit more, but he often rebuffed me because they were tired or busy. He, meanwhile, has met my partner 3 times in 4 years, all basically by accident because I happened to bring him with me to things. The only times he's visited me, even now that I live much closer, has been to drop off his dog so I could dog sit.
That sucks!
I guess he also met my partner then, but that's a 5-minute dog handoff. Not talking has been a relief. Notice that. Clock that. Clock the T.
That's a clock.
But I also felt bad with the wedding coming up. I asked for a call to talk through our issues. He dodged a few times. In the end, it wasn't just me. I said my piece as firmly but constructively as I could. That I'm sorry for not showing up in the way that he wants and for not communicating well about it previously, and that I'd like to build a relationship that works for us both. But that the way our relationship has worked for the past decade is not that. I need him to make an effort, A, to communicate differently, and B, to actually make an effort toward me too. This did not go well. I feel like that's very reasonable. I actually feel like that's more kind than he deserves. How can you take that badly? Unless you're if you get defensive about something like that, here's the thing. If you're setting a boundary and asking people to show up for you and their response is to be defensive and weird about it, you hit a nerve. He mostly reasserted his complaints. He kept calling my partner my chosen family, which, while literally true, contrasts with his own asks for his family, which he did not qualify as chosen, but is just his family. There were lots of similarly invalidating moments. My issue with his tone is apparently me being oversensitive to his feedback And he's actually been holding back to protect me. Actually, he's the victim, and he's been dodging my ask to talk because he's so afraid I will go ballistic and cut him off. Okay. Still, he ends saying he wants to try and fix things and we can each think about how to move forward. He then says my wedding invite was a slap in the face and pretty shitty to receive because his kids aren't included.
Whoa, hold it.
Like, first of all, no kid is allowed at a bar, usually. Furthermore, kids are usually asleep by that time in the night. And that a nice first gesture of goodwill from me would be to make an exception. I actually feel like it should be the other way around. He should figure out a way to make it work. It's your wedding. It's not his place to force you to change something. I pointed out that they're welcome at everything but the late night rave in a bar. This does not placate him. He tells me to talk to the bar about letting his kids in, and exhausted, I say I'll consider it. Afterward, I come to my senses. It's a rave in a bar. Kids should not be there. We literally cannot fit more people in there. So I text him a firm, calm message. My very even-handed partner read for tone, saying, no, kids cannot come to the bar. It's not an event for kids. And also, by the way, this is exactly the problem I was trying to talk to him about. He replied that I was being aggressive and having a blow up, and he's not interested in continuing to try to talk. He would prefer to keep things polite and limited instead. Now who's cutting people off? Yeah, it's interesting that he said, oh, she's going to cut me off, when he was literally considering cutting you off. Now, you might think that officially refusing to continue to speak with me and be polite and limited would mean he's not planning to come to the wedding, but I think he probably will if I don't actively uninvite him. Maybe he'll believe he's being the bigger person and showing up for family, maybe just not to cause drama with our parents. Mainly, I think he'll feel self-righteous about extending himself for me. I do not think he'd have fun. And while I didn't want someone I wasn't really speaking to at my wedding previously, we hadn't codified the situation. Now it's we're really not speaking, and that feels even worse. I told my mom, who's been losing her mind over him for years, but again, non-confrontational, about this conversation, and said I didn't know what to do about him re the wedding. We are paying for it ourselves. She was like, gosh, that's so awful, so upsetting. We'll just keep sending him details and see if he comes. I said, no, you're not getting it. I'm not sure I'm willing to have him there. She said, I can't even think about that, and hung up.
What is wrong with everyone?
He was a good older brother when I was a kid and defended me against our dad, who was kind of an asshole, and I feel nostalgic for that version of him. On the other hand, as my partner keeps pointing out, we haven't had a relationship for 2 years, and before that, we had a strained, terrible one. Am I really going to invite this a-hole and not invite a couple of the people that we're actually friends with? I get your point, I do, and he is being a total jerk. Maybe he won't end up coming to the rave part because his kids can't be there. But what if there's a time in the future where you do have a better relationship? I'm hoping. I don't think that you will, but what if, I get how you feel. I do. It could be possible that people will drop out anyway and that you'll get to invite the people that you want.
Fingers crossed.
I don't know. Leave the invite open for a little bit. It's such a tough situation because I totally get how you feel. I really wanted to invite a lot of friends, but because we have so many family members and Mike has such a big family, I wasn't able to invite a lot of people that I wanted to. There just really wasn't room. We couldn't afford it. It was already getting a little out of control. So I couldn't invite people that I wanted to. And at the same time, I'm inviting people that I really don't even like or want to be there. Unfortunately, with family, I wish I could go against the grain here, but I think there will be another opportunity to invite people that you want. There almost always are people that drop out. Yes, it might look weird that you inviting them late, but maybe you just explain the situation to them and be like, listen, I really, really want you there. I'm kind of my hands are tied. I can't invite someone else. But if someone drops out, and believe me, people drop out, would you want to come? I get invited last minute to weddings all the time, and it's yeah, okay, this was a pity invite. Yeah, someone probably dropped out, whatever. I still go, I was raised on avoidance and non-confrontation, and I can't help but feel if we hadn't talked, we might have continued in what was sure a pretty shallow and strained relationship, and we could have staggered onward with the hypothetical idea that someday things would improve. I still don't really want to not slam the door, but lock the door of a relationship with my brother. Here's the thing, uninviting him will do that. Don't you see how angry he gets? And maybe that's not a bad thing, but
is it worth it?
You never know how things might progress in the future. Not inviting him to the wedding feels like a final blow. Even if every time I imagine even saying polite and limited hello and thanks for coming to him at the wedding, I feel like dying inside. Girl, it's gonna be like a little blip. You're barely gonna talk to him, honestly. And you can ask your family to just sort of like, oh God, they're very non-confrontational. Have someone at the wedding that's responsible for keeping him in check.
Excellent idea.
I probably just need to bite the bullet and say, okay, thanks for letting me know. Polite and limited is fine for me. Not sure if you're still planning on attending my wedding, but we were reserving that for people who we are on good speaking terms with and who are excited to celebrate with us. We appreciate you relinquishing your seats for people who will actually enjoy spending our weekend wedding with. JK, I know that's too catty, but that's what I want to say. I get, yeah, okay, I'm glad that you recognize that. I wouldn't.
Maybe not.
To be honest, that's still a restrained version of what I want to say. Personally, I think that he's going to bow out. I think that he's not going to come. Here's the thing. Here's the fun thing about weddings. You do find out about who cares about you and who doesn't, and who wants to put in the effort and who doesn't. I firmly believe that he's going to do it himself. I wouldn't want to be the person to uninvite anybody. You know, we had an issue with a family member that was like on the outs and like, you know, estranged from the rest of my family, and everybody was like really trying to get him to come. And I was like, stop trying. Don't bother. Like, just leave him alone. If he's not going to come, he's not going to come. And sure enough, he didn't come. You know, like, it's like he didn't want to be put in a position where it would be awkward. So like, I feel like he's still I think he's going to bow out. And even if he doesn't, you're barely going to talk to him. I feel like, yeah, I think I've said enough. Everyone in the comments is like, "F that guy." People are saying you should rip the Band-Aid off and like not invite him. Yeah, fair enough. I get it. It's just like with family, it's tough. And it's not even just about like your brother who's an asshole. It's also about like the rest of your family who want a relationship with him. Like, this is going to cause a lot of drama. I'm just saying. Like, your wedding is going to be about this like family drama, you know, like he's going to be mad at your parents for going. Like, it's like, who knows? This guy's so irrational, right? Like, I'm truly stumped. Maybe again, you're talking to a people pleaser here. Like, we're chatting. I'm a people pleaser, and I am also family, you know, generational family trauma. I'm like the eldest daughter of an Italian family, and I am pushed into inviting people that I don't want to.
I've seen some things.
On the other side of it, like, it all worked out. Like, the people that I didn't want there didn't go. Yeah, I understand you not wanting to uninvite him and just sort of end it, but I think he's gonna do that for you, genuinely. Especially considering, oh, my kids aren't included. I just want to include he's already expressed that he's pissed off about that. So, like, yeah. Personally, I think that you don't have to uninvite him. I don't think he'll come. And then you're not gonna be the bad guy. Honestly, it'll be his decision. I can get wanting to end things with a family member that's been causing you distress. Me personally, would not want to be dealing with all that drama. That's how I feel about it. And listen, I know you're worried about it, but like, it all works out, truly. It really does. Most of the time. I don't want to be in my friend's wedding anymore. Ooh, it's got a spicy video today. I'm a little spicy today. That's okay. It's not my period. I'm in the bridal party for a wedding. I honestly do not want to attend at this point. The entire planning process has been a complete mess. When my friend first announced her engagement last year, I really tried to help her get organized because I know planning is not her strong suit. We even met for lunches with her mother-in-law, who was paying for the wedding, to try and get things moving. Unfortunately, those meetings went nowhere and nothing ever actually got accomplished. Okay. For months, I kept asking her to start a group chat with the bridesmaids so we can all be in the loop and help plan things together. My thinking was that if we coordinated as a group, it would take pressure off of her. Instead, I got a text at 2 a.m. on Valentine's Day asking if it would be okay to start a group chat. At that point, I just thought, why are you asking permission? Just make the chat and move forward. Now we are 1 week away from the wedding, and only 4 out of the 10 bridesmaids even have their dresses. Oh, that would stress me out.
It's too stressful.
Okay, but again, like, it's actually not your problem, though. That's the thing. I understand that you're taking on this stress because you want your friend's wedding to be great, but like, it's not really your problem. Sorry. The dress information was only sent out at the end of February, or at least that is when some of us heard about it. I also just received a text this weekend asking if we could donate money and attend a bachelorette party this Saturday and Sunday. It feels like new requests and decisions are still coming in constantly at the last minute. The schedule is also confusing. The rehearsal dinner is Friday evening, but the wedding is Saturday evening, with the reception not starting until 7. Normally, that would not be a big deal, but the wedding is about 3 hours in the middle of nowhere with nothing planned in between those days. There are also unexpected expenses. We were originally told that hair and makeup would be covered because the bride wanted everyone to have the same hairstyle. Now we have to pay for it ourselves, which is apparently going to be about $400. What? $400? That doesn't sound normal, I'm just saying.
Something smells fishy.
I would not have minded contributing if we had known earlier, but it's frustrating to find out about another large cost at the last minute. $400 is like not normal. I'm pretty sure my makeup artist charged like $150 a person. For me, it was more expensive, but like not for everybody else. Oh, hairstylist. No, the hairstylist was around the same. The dresses are also extremely questionable, but they are Barney purple, and the hairstyle is the side swept Taylor Swift look from around 2011. The original dress idea was a short A-line tutu. I told her it looked more like something for a junior prom. Keep in mind, most of the women in the bridal party are over 37 and have kids. Her daughter is 21 and I'm the next youngest at 32 with an infant. Her response was that A-line looks good on everyone. I think she received a lot of pushback because the dress changed, but the new one somehow looks even worse. On top of that, I now have to buy a backup dress just in case the original one does not arrive in time. At this point, I feel like I'm hemorrhaging money for someone else's event. This is not my wedding, my child, or my life event. To make things even more complicated, my husband and I will have to leave the reception early because he has meetings on Monday that he absolutely cannot miss. The whole situation just feels chaotic and exhausting. I'm not being dramatic on the chaos. She doesn't even have a cake. Oh, Lord.
This is bad.
That sucks. Honestly, this is my worst nightmare, okay? Like, I would not want anyone to feel inconvenienced about an event that I'm throwing. I would want people to show up, feel taken care of, like you're hosting at the end of the day. It would be my absolute nightmare for someone to feel this way about my wedding. Horrible. I would not, this is like horrible to read. But fair enough, honestly. Like, I think that you do need to talk to her at the very least. And I know I always say, like, don't bring problems to the bride or whatever, but like, this is not like you're bringing problems to the bride. This is like the bride is causing problems. It's affecting everyone. And you need to tell her to stop that. You know what I mean? Or to get her shit together. When I say don't bring problems to the bride, I mean like, bringing the bride like unnecessary drama that has like nothing to do with her, or like, you know, cause drama for her. That's what I mean when I say that. I do think it would be good to maybe talk to her about it and just say if something else comes up, if she asks for like another, I don't know why you're even buying a backup dress. Maybe it's not going to come in time, but like it kind of is what it is at this point. It's not your wedding. It's not your problem. And just say, listen, I love you and I'm excited to celebrate with you, but I cannot spend any more money on this wedding.
And that's that.
To be honest, it kind of doesn't really sound like she cares that much anyway. So like maybe she won't take it that badly, you know? Unless this is I would donate a kidney for her level of friendship, I'd say get out now. Okay, that I think is important to note. It depends on how good of friends you are with this person. Like if this is your diehard, like childhood best friend for like 10 years plus, you know, sometimes people are just really f***ing type B and I cannot stand it, but they are. I wouldn't want to put up with this for someone that I wasn't even really that close with, to be honest. Donate the dress you have back to the wedding. Someone else can use it. Cite last minute work or family conflict, whatever you like, or just tell her the truth. This has become prohibitively expensive and difficult to participate in. Sorry. Get the heck out while the getting is good. I can understand that. $400 is crazy to get your hair and makeup done. It should not be that expensive. I just can't even understand the logic of like springing all of these surprise expenses on people. I would just say no, like literally say no. And if she has a problem with it, then whatever. You know, you can say no to last minute's costs, right? You're buying into the idea that you have to do all of this. You don't. Tell the bride she didn't inform you of a $400 hair cost and you won't be paying it. Don't buy a backup dress. Give her the options of a few dresses you already own. If the bridesmaid dresses don't arrive, these are not your problems. Not your circus, not your monkey. Cisco!